Nat Friedman making a sandwich with 10,000 pickles. That content was memorable. Like, I still remember that.
Pizza Bite. Pizza Bite.
Cool, welcome back to the show. We're out here in Portland, Oregon at East Gilsan Pizza with Jason Lenstorf, developer influencer. Welcome, Jason, how you doing?
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, do you want to tell us why East Gilsan?
Yes, so East Gilsan is, it's my favorite pizza shop in Portland. I come here all the time, and I am also a huge pizza connoisseur, right? I will eat pizza every meal if I'm allowed, and Detroit style has become like my go-to. And so this is probably the pizza shop that I go to the most in Portland.
Yeah, excellent. And I'm a big fan of Detroit style as well. It's actually big in Oakland.
That timing was perfect.
Yeah, it's almost like that was planned. Excellent. So you want to tell us what we have here?
Yes, so this is their Detroit style pie, and it is a pepperoni and mushroom.
I think I might have, maybe you're doing like test content or something like that on Twitter, and you were explaining Detroit style pizza.
Yeah.
We actually went up to New York and we were talking about, we had a pizza tour with the team at opensource. And they're talking about how they were making Detroit style pizza with the square pans, super hot, crispy crust.
Yes.
So I think actually, let's just get it while it's hot.
Ah, yeah.
Oh man. It's got that pepperoni juice on it too. It's gonna go down pretty easy.
This is like, I feel like everybody's got that food that they can just eat well past the point of being full. Like your brain is telling you like you don't need any more food, and you're like, I don't care, I'll eat this until I get sick. And I think Detroit style pizza is that food for me.
All right, so we didn't come here just for the pizza. I want to actually talk about something that's been top of mind for me. And honestly, people keep asking me about it, which is DevRel dead at this point?
I think DevRel is dying, at least in its current form. I think there was a sort of era of like people who had a natural skill for DevRel, and they moved into this role. And so without really understanding why these people were so effective as like DevRel engineers or whatever, founders who were very good in public, companies said, well, we need to hire DevRel. And so they would go out and they would hire people, and everybody has their own definition of what that means. Maybe it's speak at conferences, maybe it's go write 1 million blog posts or make videos or whatever it is, but there's not a cohesive strategy around it. And so each company is sort of defining this on the fly with no real plan, no real metrics, and each DevRel engineer that gets hired is basically coming in with no context on like what the company expects. So it's sort of like if you were to say, I want you to come work at this company, and you say, great, I'll come work at your company, and then on day one you sort of both turn over your job description and see if you were correct, right? And I think that form of DevRel is dead.
Yeah.
I don't think companies are hiring for it. I think that the expectation I'm seeing is a lot of companies are starting to move toward a less of a personality-based DevRel hire and more of a what I'm calling an air traffic controller. Like somebody who's good at building community, coordinating efforts, thinking through programs, and like lifting up community folks, as opposed to trying to do it all in-house, because I think that scales better, and I think that's easier to define.
Yeah. What are the top 3 DevRel failures?
I mean, I think the biggest one is like it doesn't matter how famous somebody is, they can only talk about a product for like 3 to 6 months before they hit saturation. Like if I have 1 million followers and I go out and I talk to my 1 million followers, I will, deliver my message, and at the end of 6 months, they'll have heard it. And they're either gonna try the thing or they're not. And no amount of me saying it more is gonna move that needle, right? And so a lot of companies, they over-index on personality.
Yeah.
But there's no strategy to back it up. There's no, like, how are we going to leverage this personality to reach a broader audience? They just say, you, be famous.
Yeah.
And then they get mad when they start seeing diminishing returns after the first quarter or two.
Yeah, so it seemed like there's like a half-life on your DevRel hires if you're going to go personality only.
If you go personality only, right? And I think that's why, that's what's frustrating to a lot of folks, is that you see somebody who is like a legend, a Kelsey Hightower, and you think, but he's just a famous personality. But then you see, he's kind of got that swan thing, like above the water, it's all beautiful and serene, but under the hood, like, it's so much motion, so much coordination, so much strategy, so many things are happening to make his public presence effective and lasting. But because we don't see it, all like what everybody indexes on is what's visible.
Yeah. Yeah, so you made the decision to leave your DevRel job. So you're VP of Developer Experience at Netlify. But now you're VP of making your own money, doing developer content with Learn with Jason. So can you talk about you don't go into specifics, but what's the focus now on doing full-time content creation?
So my sort of my current view of how things are working is that DevRel and marketing at companies are they're both incomplete pieces of a larger puzzle.
Yeah.
And so a lot of companies are trying for product-led growth. Product-led growth works if you have a great product and people try it and they know it exists, right?
Yeah.
And so we have good products being built, and then people are kind of saying, well, if I build it, people will come. And then they don't tell anybody about it, or they spend a lot of time on docs, they spend a lot of time on landing pages, and then nothing to get people to those landing pages except for maybe an SEO play. But SEO, if I'm searching for a problem, I already know what's going on, I'm already aware of your company. The vast majority of what needs to be done is building that initial awareness in the first place. You might be thinking your biggest competitor is this company. Your actual biggest competitor as a company is the 99% of developers who they don't even know that what you're offering is possible. They learned a way to do it, they've been solving it that way, and there's no reason for them to explore because what they do is fine. If you show them that there's a better world, they're interested, but that's the work that needs to be done. So a lot of my interest right now is in sort of combining the best parts of DevRel and the best parts of marketing into something that's actually built to build awareness through the eyes of developers, so that they can actually get to the point of trying the landing page, hitting the SEO based stuff and getting some benefits there.
So what are the things you've learned since going full time, or even before you creating your content creation journey? There's certain things that are working and certain things that are not working. So do you want to talk about what's not working and then talk about what is working?
I don't think tutorials work the way that people want them to work. And I don't think that events work the way that people want them to work. So tutorials are again, that's somebody who has to be, it's pull based. The person has to be aware of you, they have to be trying to solve the problem that you have described, which is really, really good in the instance of I have docs, we have use cases, here's our getting started guides with use cases, right? It's not good for building awareness. You're not gonna get new devs with use case based tutorials. And conferences are the same thing. Conferences today are for partnership strengthening. You go there to meet people you already know, to link up with clients in person and show them that you're investing in their relationship, right? But you're not really seeing new devs showing up at conferences. You're not getting top of funnel awareness. You're not getting new people to know that your company exists. And so, we need new strategies, right? I think the things that did work just aren't working anymore. And the second part of your question was what is working?
Yeah.
So what I'm seeing is working is if we focus on the community side of things, right? People want stories. We haven't been able to go outside for a long time. We've all gotten into our TV, and if you look at the stuff that dominates the Twitter cycle or the social media cycles, it's story-based stuff. We all watch Great British Bake Off together. We all watch Game of Thrones together.
Love is blind.
Love is blind, right? And we talk about these stories. So what I'm seeing working is I'm working on stuff that I'm calling Dev TV, where it's riffing on competition reality. It's riffing on the idea of let's do Anthony Bourdain Parts Unknown style show, or comedians in cars getting coffee. And part of this is because I've seen you do this show.
Yeah.
I thought this was amazing. I've wanted to do an Anthony Bourdain thing since I saw the show, right?
Yeah.
And so when we make stuff like this, people want real stories. They want to connect with real humans. And if we do that in a way that attaches to the ethos we're trying to create, so in my case, it's learning is easier if it's fun, and everything is more fun if you do it with a community. And if those are the two things I'm going for, then brands that want that to be true about their perception work with me to make content that tells those stories. And they all see a notable, like not attributable because video doesn't work that way, but correlated. The video goes live, people are watching it, and they start seeing a little bump in how many people are signing up for their service. That's predictable. It's hard to attribute, I can't prove it, but I know it's true because we can look at the charts.
So I know from your background, were you in a Screamo band?
I was.
You were in a Screamo band with the eyeliner and everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I definitely. I think we're gonna find that picture.
Please do.
And we're gonna put it right here in the show. But like knowing from we're both in the same millennial generation, elder millennial. What was big about like punk rock and like emo bands and Screamo was album art, vinyl stickers. Like it was a scene, like literally a scene.
Right.
Scene kids. And I think what we saw with like GitHub had a very specific brand. They brought the vinyl stickers because prior to that, all the enterprises all had like these cheap metallic stickers that would just fall apart after like maybe one day at the coffee shop. And so we saw everyone like fast follow that. We now have vinyl stickers, and Sticker Mule now runs that.
Right.
Do you anticipate more folks doing this? Like more storytelling type content around their products?
I strongly suspect that yes. I think that we're going to see the meta shift because it's too expensive to keep sponsoring conferences for like incremental returns.
Yeah.
Like if you're going for awareness, which everybody needs to focus on, like we're not in the days of like free awareness anymore. You gotta go out and make an effort to get awareness. There's too much noise. Everybody's online. Everybody's making videos. So you got to do something that's notable.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see the meta shift. Like there's no option, you know.
Yeah, I look forward to that. I'm a big fan. Like I ran a developer advocacy at GitHub. We also took over a YouTube channel, started doing TikTok.
Right.
And that was on the back of like something different had to happen. Like you can't just continue doing tutorials and tips and tricks.
Yeah.
But it became more about storytelling and experiences for developers. And like GitHub has a huge brand, so unfair advantage.
Well, but GitHub also invested in the quality of the things they were putting out, and it made them stand out in a way that other big brands didn't. Like, GitHub is much smaller than Oracle, but if you watch the content, the GitHub Universe keynote content where y'all were doing like, you know, Nat Friedman making a sandwich with 10,000 pickles, that content was memorable. Like, I still remember that. I could not recall a single scene from some of the stuff that I saw from the really big players because it all felt very like, they hired the budget company and they did the standard kind of video.
And like even Microsoft, parent company of GitHub, very standard, run-of-the-mill keynote with Satya and friends.
Right.
Apple, same deal. Like, kind of memorable. But I was in the writer's room with the pickle and trying to get the, okay, Matt, would it be cool if you made a sandwich? He's like, yeah, I'm doing it. Or hey, can we like throw in a couple extra jokes, Matt? Nat was like totally fine for it. And then like I had my own thing, and like we got to, it honestly felt like the DevRel team at GitHub was like more like the writer's room for SNL.
I really think that to me, that's something that I hope companies start to embrace, is that if you think about what DevRel's intent is, it's to help you get an authentic connection to your audience, right? And your audience is developers. So if we start thinking about it less like you, developer, go talk to other developers and get us leads, and start thinking it more like a writer's room and say, look, your job is to tell a story that resonates, right? And if we tell stories that resonate, people are gonna come in. Like, people love to watch things that feel like they're for them.
100%. Well, honestly, that's a lot to sort of take a bite out of, and I really appreciate you coming out and doing a pizza bite with me.
Absolutely, thank you so much for having me.
Folks, stay saucy.